This is the Fitness Representative. Today is Fitness Friday, and I have with you today a special guest of mine. We're bringing to you on the Fitness Report radio show. This is our second show, guys. Second show and a special one. We have guests here today who's very important to just everything as far as TFR, everything as far as the business that's, that we call fitness, and as far as my profession goes. All right, so what we're going to do today, like I said, it's Fitness Friday. We're going to go into a lot of different topics as far as what it is to be in shape or to get in shape and try to hold on to it for the rest of your life. We're talking about transformations. We're talking about lifestyle changes. We're talking about all it takes to basically say, hey, you know what? I want to change something. I want to get something going different, and I want to try to keep that going for the rest of my life. Bears weekend, so got on my Peyton jersey, had to represent for my team. I'm not one of them bandwagoners, so this is what we got. We're going for basically, I think 4-0. Yeah, we lost one, but that didn't count. We kind of boo-booed it out. All right, but we got giveaways today. We have a really good show coming. We want to give out some information on what it is to change. We want to really go into the topic of change and just how meaningful it is to go from one situation in your life and to really work on making your next situation a positive change. So, like I said, we have a special guest here today by the name of Tiffini Holmes. Tiffini, say hello to the crowd.
Good morning or afternoon.
Right, depending on if you're on the East Coast, it's noon on the East Coast, 9 o'clock Pacific. All right, like I said, this is the Fitness Representative coming at you with the Fitness Report radio show. So, we want to get right into it. The word of the day on Fitness Friday, the word of the day is transformations.
Oh, that's my favorite word.
It's a favorite word so much to where it's basically, it's the name of the business, right?
It is. Total Transformation Solutions.
Yep, so, I'll put it like this. A few years ago, not too long, time flies these days, but as a fitness trainer, you run into new people daily. You run into new situations with people daily. You run into people who could change your life, and you run into people who really could use you in changing theirs. So what we wanted to focus on today, being this the second show of the Fitness Report, we wanted to focus on what it is to change. And what bigger change do you have is to really than to transform. When you transform, that means you basically say, hey, I'm done with it all. I want to be something different within who I am. So you as a person, you make a lot of different changes and you make a lot of different adjustments. But when you transform, you wipe everything clean. It's like back in the day, the Transformers. You go from a car to an actual living being. That's not the same as that car. So if you want to switch it up, you can make some changes or you can transform. So today we're going to focus on transforming, and we have someone here today who's definitely transformed their life in a positive way and sparked some business and sparked some big time opportunities because of it. So before we go into that, we want to acknowledge a few people today that are no longer with it. Well, one that's no longer with us, and we just want to say, just from a Chicago sports standpoint, you all know him. I just want to say rest in peace, Tex Winters. Tex Winters was key in triangle offense, that famous offense for those Chicago Bulls during the Jordan and Pippen era. And we just wanted to give a shout out to Tex. We wanted to acknowledge, we wanted to let you guys know that basically, if it's something you got going on, if it's something that you are looking to put out there, you know, call up on the show. Call me personally. We're looking to put small businesses out there. So we want to get you, we want to get you recognized. We want to get you seen and heard, over the airwaves. So basically, you can call us up, and we'll try to help you in pushing that. But let's get back to the topic of the day. Topic of the day is transformation, and we want to know what it means to you. So I'm going to use this word, and I'm going to attach it to Tiffini Holmes, and I'm going to get her take before we even go into the book and we go into the company and to what she holds near and dear to her heart. We want to know first what it means for her to transform. So Tiffini, I want you to tell our listening audience, what has it meant to you to transform?
I think to sum it up, what it means to me to have transformed is really to overhaul my entire life. I've had a really blessed, really, really good life. And when I started what I thought was transformation, it was just a change, right? The change was to lose weight. What happened was the transformation. The change was the one thing that I was looking to do, but the transformation was the impact that it's had on everything, and what it took to make it happen is what caused the transformation.
Okay, so what, during the time that, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys didn't know, Tiffini has been probably one of my longest tenured clients. We've been through a lot of different situations with the health and fitness thing. We've done a lot of business together, and, just sparked a lifelong friendship that started by, one of those professions that are really fulfilling, like training, If I could be short in the story, Tiffini came to me basically from a situation where she wasn't getting the results that she was looking for. She wasn't seeing what she was paying for. She was not getting the fulfillment out of what she was doing as far as working out, as far as she basically started the process before me, so before I came around, she started to get in shape already. I would see her in the gym, and we would chit chat and talk and laugh it up, but I wasn't her trainer. So if anyone knows me, I'm hands off until you become my client.
Sort of.
So, but she would come hang out. She would come hang out at the back, wait for her trainer. I won't mention his name.
Wait. But we do have to briefly tell the story of how this all came to be. So I'm gonna tell it.
Okay, you tell it.
So I had a membership to the gym for 100 years that I was not using, and I was paying for personal training that whole time. So when I finally decided to come to the gym, I had like 2 years worth of PT on the books. Got with this one trainer. He trained me one time, and I was too big for him. You remember that?
Yeah.
And so I had stacked up his whole day. I was like 4 or 5 days a week. And the next day I was scheduled to come in. All of a sudden his schedule was full. And so he couldn't train me. So he wouldn't train me. So then I got with another trainer. And bless his heart, sweet as could be. But we would walk on the treadmill and talk about his life problems the whole time. Yeah. So then here comes you seeing me. You know you can do more than that. You know you can do more than that. I'm like, whatever. I don't need it. Whatever. I'm in here, though.
Right.
And so finally you talked me into coming to one of your boot camp classes.
Yes.
And then it was on from there.
Yep. And it was basically, it was a challenge for me mentally, physically, and emotionally because
me too.
because I'm, being where we are in the city and in the suburbs, we're in Evanston, so we're in the North Shore, and anyone knows that the area is predominantly white. Mm-hmm. So when normally when you train, you either have middle-aged, white men and women, or young white women. That's basically your demographic when it comes to training. So for me, it was a challenge not to dismiss the fact that my first two clients was young sisters from Northwestern. So I gotta give y'all a shout out, Jordan and damn, I forgot her name. But I gotta give you guys a shout out because you two were the first. But out of all the clients, Nina, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that she's here today. I'm thankful that she changed her life around, and she really did make some changes to kind of spark some things that would happen, going forward. So today to have her here, very special. We're pushing forward, and every time I see her, she's got something new going on. Whether it's a book, whether it's healthy food and healthy dishes and healthy snacks, it's always something new going on. We've done a few wellness retreats. We recently wrapped up the fourth one this year in Lincoln Park. But when it comes to health, fitness, and wellness, we pretty much got together and done some good things to help out, a lot of people, and we don't look forward to stopping. It just gets bigger from here. But back to the transformation, we wanted to go first into, what made it, what started it, and I guess now my question to you would be: we know it was hard, we know it always will be hard, all right, and that's from working with me, because you've trained with me privately for a while now. This wasn't no in-gym situation. We trained private, one-on-one, and like I said, if anybody knows me, I'm tough. I'm a butthole. I'm all of that. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, it's part of my background. I'm a double dog. So if you're gonna deal with me, you're gonna deal with
it's DNA.
Yeah. So you're gonna deal with a tough situation. So between the challenges of just losing weight in general, and then dealing with somebody that's on you so hard, so much, every time they see you, they're on you. Every time they're on you, and they're pretty much looking for perfection.
Every time.
And seeing that no one's perfect, what type of challenge is that?
That's probably the hardest part. I would say that's where the transformation comes in versus the change, because I was used to being successful at almost everything I did and being successful with ease. So this was something that I already had trepidation about because it wasn't easy. And then to deal with you when I'm pretty sure I'm giving everything I have, and you like, yeah, that's not good enough. It was like, oh my God. And so, as you know, it created a lot of tension, but I mean, it also helped me to get beyond the applause, because that's what I was used to.
Right, and that's important, because I think, and you hear it all the time, most people get in the gym and the first thing they hear is, phrases like, well, at least you're here, good job, girl, you can do it, all the things that we've heard while you're busting your butt and somebody else is just walking around smiling saying you can do it.
Literally.
Right.
Literally.
So for you, and I'll say this, as your trainer, helping you out with the situation, you do look for things that aren't possible, or you do look for things that, because you know that they're possible within you, you look for them to be possible within everyone, and that's very unfair.
Very,
but it's,
very unfair.
It's unfair, but it sparks change. It sparks a new attitude sometimes, depending on who you got. Mm-hmm. And if you care about the person enough, you can kind of see them through the times that are going to be tough for them dealing with you. Mm-hmm. So you don't abandon them. You don't abandon them during the time where you also in their butts saying, hey, you can do it, when they think that they just can't do it. So you at least got to be there for them. So that's what I try to do, is be there throughout the time that I knew you weren't going to be able to give some of those things that I was asking for. So that hopefully one day you can meet me halfway, at least, and even closer than that, and kind of like make me happy.
Imagine that.
In the effort. So, I mean, what would you say to those out there who want to transform and who don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's weight loss, whether it's weight gain, it really doesn't matter. It's not just about the appearance in the first place, but whether it's some substance abuse or domestic violence or whatever it is, what would you say to the person that's going through that's in the bed right now, and they're looking at the ceiling and they're saying, "Man, I want to make some changes." What's the first thing you would say to that person?
The first thing I would say is get up. You're definitely not going to make any change if you don't start taking some sort of action. But the second thing, and the second most important thing, would be stop looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. That's real far away, and that's how you set yourself up for failure. Start with one habit and keep doing that. The habit is the action that will bring forth the results that you're looking for. So you'll get to the light if you do what it takes to get there. Focus on doing what it takes.
True. And you guys can call in. The number for today is 708-223-8953. Once again, we're talking about transformations with the lovely Tiffini Holmes here. She's brought some gifts, and we're looking to give that special caller some free stuff. So you guys call in and chime in on the topic, and we want to go. We want to go also into how did this spawn new things for you, because you're coming from corporate America. Mm-hmm. Michigan State, DePaul. Where else?
Don't do that.
So, educated woman, corporate woman. When we first started this journey, you definitely deep into corporate America.
Man.
Traveling for work and doing all those things for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it was so important? I mean, we know some of the reasons. Well, why do you think it was so important to say, hey, I need to do this for me. I need to attack the world through my own eyes, mm-hmm. and make it important through what I see as a vision, not just me going to do it for someone else. What put that at the top of the list for you?
I would have to say, well, I never really liked people telling me what to do. So I really wasn't long for corporate America anyway, although I have been successful at it. But the other thing was I wanted the freedom and the autonomy to live my own life, and I wanted to help people the way I wanted to help them. And I thought I could do that within HR, and to a vast extent I did, but I was still bound by what I could and couldn't say, and at the end of the day, the company had the final say. And so I said I wanted to help people the way I wanted to, but nobody telling me how to do that or what my limits were on that.
That's good. That's important, because me being in a similar situation coming out of the military, you're being told everything to do, like 100% of what to do. And it kind of lessens once you get into like the regular military workforce. Mm-hmm. But after doing a few enlistments, couple of enlistments, you don't want to be told what to do. You just want to be successful at what you want to do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you figure there's going to be some guidance within that, and you figure it's going to be something, basically that you're going to have to be accountable for. But I want the glory for my work,
Mm-hmm.
I want the glory. I want to be front and center for
right.
what I've done,
right.
what's been done at the hands of of me. So, same thing. You basically want to influence the world how you want to influence them, not how someone's telling you to.
Exactly.
And not how someone basically saying, hey, today you won't influence them this way.
Mm-hmm.
Today you will.
Exactly.
And it's all based off of what their, job or objective is.
Right.
So, now that you form the total transformation solution, or total.
That's it.
Yeah.
To stop.
So, all right, this is the thing. We decided to come up with different names. So, the company used to be called Total Transformation Wellness Coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I always got a bright idea. She's got 50 bright ideas. I mean, all night coming up with new stuff to try to, influence the people, but I haven't been able to get this name right since the last few months, of switching, of basically saying, hey, let's switch it up. I haven't been able to switch it up since then. All right, so just a quick one. You can catch Tiffini Holmes, Instagram, Facebook, social media, TTW Coach. What's the handle on Twitter?
It's all the same.
So it's TTW Coach on Twitter, Instagram, and also Total. What is it on Facebook?
Total Transformation Solutions.
All right, so Total Transformation Solutions on Facebook as a fan page. All right, so go follow her. She's got a lot of great information. But we're gonna get into the beef and broccoli of the whole situation, which is basically. All right, we got a caller.
Say that in the mic.
Caller, you're on.
Hi, I would like to ask Tiffini as well as Jabori, what's the most difficult part of transforming? Being in corporate America, very difficult to find time. I want to know for them, what do they think the most difficult part?
Okay, who do we have online?
Oh, this is Deandra.
Oh, hi, Deandra.
D-A-N-D-R-A.
Hi. Hi, Deandra.
And thanks for spelling that out for us.
You're welcome.
You can take that first.
The hardest part about transformation is finding the time. When you work, when you have a family, when you have other obligations, it's super easy and almost instinctive for us, especially as women, to put ourselves last. And when you think that everything else is in order, then you will instantly be like, oh, I can get to the gym later. Oh, I can worry about what I'm going to eat later. And that's just not the case. And one of the things we came up with early on was this 4% concept, which is 1 hour of the day that you need to be able to find to dedicate strictly to yourself and to your well-being. And it doesn't have to be one set 60 minutes. It can be broken up into increments. But we have found, and studies have shown, that if you dedicate that 1 hour a day to yourself, then the change and the transformation will begin to happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
and for myself, seeing that there hasn't been any drastic physical changes. So to me, transforming was always probably an emotional thing more than anything. When it came to health and fitness, you always feel like you got it if you look like you got it. And I grew up. I mean, my mom cooked pretty good food. We never OD'd on food and stuff like that. So a lot of those things that came with that weren't hard. It was never an issue with not with being sedentary or being in a house full of greasy foods and just eating bad. So for me, transformation was more of a mind state. We've all been through some tough things in life, including myself. So my job was more so to transformation meant to me to change my mind about how life was supposed to be. You deal with the tough sides and you deal with the tough situations, but in order to be successful, you need time. And most people look at success as if you landed a good job, or you made this much money or that amount, or you've done these things. But what they fail to realize is that success happens over a period of time, and that period of time is life. So you know what I'm saying? In order for you to say you've been successful, I mean, you're probably not going to be here. That's just how I look at it. To me, you're not a success or there's no failures, but you're not a success until you're gone, because that time span that you're trying to get it, that's your lifetime. That's not when you graduate school. That's not when you graduate, or when you finally achieve something that others thought was really important. So it's transformation, seeing that it happens in three ways: emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. It's over a long period of time. And if it's anything less than that to you, it's probably because you were taught that it was all based off your achievements. And that's where, to me, transformation is different from just the average achievement. Mm-hmm. It's something to change your entire life, and then you rate that off of a long period of time. So that's how I sum that up.
Okay, thank you. And just one more. Which you just named the orders of, or was that the order? Physical, emotional, spiritual,
and mental. Not in any.
Put it in order.
If I was to put it in order, what would you put it as far as precedence?
I would say mental, and then emotional, and then physical. And the reason I say mental first is because that really controls everything else. Your mindset about things will dictate your emotions, and then your emotions will dictate your physical desires and abilities, really.
And I would second that, because mentally, your mind gets it started, and how you feel about it kicks in, and how you are physically is a representation of those two other things.
Correct.
And you can throw, of course, how important it is to be spiritual. That's above all things. But if we're looking at the three that people see every day, and how people represent transformations, some of us wouldn't consider ourselves spiritual. I don't know. But if you're even an average person, you're gonna look at the mentality. You're gonna be emotional, or have or lack emotion about it, and your physical presence is gonna show the result of those things. So that's how I feel about that. Yeah, but
right.
Great call in, Deandra.
Thank you.
And appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so the number to call in is 708-223-8953. Once again, we are here talking with Tiffini Holmes, and we're basically going over what it is to transform. You guys call in if you want to chime in. The number is 708-223-8953. You can also catch us at intellectualradio.com. And we're going to go even further into it, because Tiffini has done some great things. She has traveled, and she has seen different cultures. It's really good to be associated with someone who's like-minded. She likes to travel. She likes to really dig into different cultures. She likes to really go and see what it is. She's been around the world. She's traveled a lot. Very well versed in different societies. So to be around someone like that, you learn a lot even through silence, and to have someone like that around your family as a good friend, and someone who really cares, you really appreciate it. And there's really no way for you to show that other than what you could probably do. Other than what you could probably do, professionally, or to try to change their life. So, being that I've been Tiffini's trainer off and on for a while now, another tough part was, as far as transforming, was to pick back up, whether it's been work or play or disagreements.
We don't have those, do we?
Never that.
Never.
No. But either way, you can never go straight through and not have anything, maybe cut into what you're doing. So when it comes to training, me and Tiffini have taken times off, few different occasions when it comes to working out. But what I like so much about the situation is how it never changed mentally, and how how she never gave up mentally and emotionally, like we were saying, and how basically, she kept with the fight even when on her own. So when it would get back to that partnership of training and working out, it wouldn't be such the big issue of where you are mentally. You're not going to be able to run 100 yards in however many seconds unless you keep practicing that. So if she would come to me and hadn't run or hadn't done the things that we would normally do, she would be rusty. But what you wouldn't see is a lack of discipline that took place during that time that you guys weren't together. So, I know that's tough. So my question to you is, what kept you going when I wasn't around?
Knowing you do that. No, no, it's a personal thing, right? I started this transformation, like you said, before I knew you. Right. And there may come a time when you're not around.
Right.
And I'm going to still be here. Like, nobody is stuck with me but me. And so if I'm not satisfied with any aspect of me, then it's up to me to keep seeing it through. And it's great if you've got somebody there to assist you along the way. It makes the transition much easier. It makes you way more focused and all those things. But at the end of the day, I better know something, or I better have something within myself that's going to keep seeing me through. Same way with a job. It's great when you can go in there and get that paycheck every 2 weeks. But when I decided to venture out on my own, I had to figure out how to still make those ends meet. And still true today.
That's true. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go into the book, okay? So, amongst all the other things that Tiffini has done, over this last couple of years, she decided to take it there and actually become an author. I remember these conversations, I remember these days, and I remember basically talking to her and conversing about, hey, this story's going out. Everybody's going to know what it is to change. And we all talk about writing, and we all talk about putting things together, and I'll be the main one to tell you, I'm a procrastinator. So a lot of ideas that I could come up with, or that we come up with, I fall short because I procrastinate. I say, oh yeah, let's do it. And that'll be the last you hear about it. Next thing you know, it's 2017, 2018. So to see Tiffini actually complete something that we talked about and that we spoke on together for so long, really wanting to get it done, I commend her for that. And what she did, she basically wrote a book on the experience and what it took and what she had to go through, and basically what it takes even currently to keep the situation going in a positive direction. So we want to get into the book. Let's see the book. Bring out the book. So now, just for you Facebook livers, right? This is the book. You also see it. It's on both of our pages. I'm pretty sure it's more recent. I don't know how recent it is.
Probably more recent on yours.
Yeah, it's probably more recent on mine. But basically, Tiffini wrote a book. The book's called Balancing the Scales, What I Gained While Losing. Okay? Foreword by yours truly. Foreword by yours truly. But what I wanted to say, first of all, what I wanted to say is congratulations on the book. And congratulations on the book. This is the book, guys. It's a good read. All right? It's not a tough read. It's just a tough stand. But it's not a tough read. It's it's basically her journey and what it took to, keep the situation positive and spawn some great things based off of her life change based off her lifestyle and based off what it is she wanted to relate to those out there who really do pay attention to change. So, first question for the book is, like I said, we both talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
What made you get serious enough to actually write the book?
I think I was serious enough about it because it was necessary. Usually when people write books about health and fitness or losing weight, it's about, okay, I did this exercise, I ate this food, and so much of my experience was that came after. So many people are not in a position to transition automatically into a plant-based diet or into even balancing out their macros and stuff like that. You have to change the behavior. And that was the part that wasn't being taught. That's the part that most trainers don't address. And, you know, when you're trying to lose a whole overweight person, which is what I needed to lose to still be a more or a less overweight person, that's what you need to know. Because when the scale doesn't flip the way you want it to, when you're tired of eating chicken or salads and stuff like that, you need to know what the mental stuff is, what the behavior changes are that are going to keep you focused. And because that was absent, I said, well, let me put this out there because this is stuff that people need to know so that they can be successful.
Right, and that's important because I'll be the first to tell you, as a trainer, a lot of my colleagues out there don't really stress all that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of us basically talk about just what it is to work out,
Right.
what it is to give that 4% or that 1 hour.
Right.
But rarely do you hear trainers talk about what it is to finish off the day, what it is to be normal and change,
Correct.
and what it is to like have a 9 to 5
Right.
and still be able to be successful at what
Exactly.
it is. So, all right. So basically, I'm gonna read you my most important part that kind of, because it really, just like I said, I haven't had to go through, you know, the full change, you know. So, of course, in me reading the book, it hit me in a different way. It hit me in the way to say, hey, my friend, my client, someone who I really care about wrote a book, and it's near and dear to them, and it could resonate with a bunch of people out there. So, not wanting to be left out, it had to resonate with me somehow, and to be able to put it to my situation, seeing that it was different from yours, that made it special to me. So, what I wanted to just go into real quick, you know, like she says right here, the saying goes, weight loss is 20% fitness and 80% nutrition. Coach Tiff contends it is 100% behavior change. And that one sentence right there for me,
That's all you read.
that's all I read. I read one. And I read that today. So look, really though, that one sentence for me carried me through just how I could relate to the book, you know, because you do look for ways to relate, because you always hear, as a trainer or as someone who's seemingly in good shape. Remember, we talk about physical, mental, and emotional. You're seemingly in good shape, you know, because you look the part. No one knows what's going on inside, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this pretty much depicts a situation that starts inside and bleeds out, you know, where she contends that it's 100% behavior change. If anybody was to disagree with that, I mean, you got to be out of your mind. You know, it's 100% behavior, because that's part of your mental, and that's why we stressed that earlier, because it goes off into your emotional side and your body, your physical appearance, or just your physical, you know, self in general. It's a representative of that, you know, those other two things. So for me, what my question to you would be, as far as your behavior change, what do you think changed the most about your behavior when it came to making a different life for yourself, starting with you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the thing was to do it anyway. Like I said, I'm used to having people in my corner cheering for me, and everything I'm doing is like, oh yeah, girl, you go, girl. This is fabulous.
A lot of cheerleaders.
A lot of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Don't hate though. But when I decided to do this, initially it was like, okay, you lose a couple pounds. They're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start to go out to dinner, and now you're ordering differently, and you're going to family gatherings, and you're not eating the same things. And then they're like, what you doing?
Right.
And they begin to look at your change as some sort of judgment about them staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I'm just doing this for me.
Right. This is personal.
Exactly. And so people pleaser Tiff would have normally been like, okay, well, I mean, I'm going to just get what they get, and then I'm just, going to go harder later.
Right.
And it was like, no, I'm going to do this for me. And I'm going to get okay with not hearing those cheers anymore. And I'm going to get okay with the funny looks. And I'm going to get okay with all the things that it takes and that it means to really be your own person and just live that way.
That's how you do it, because you're going to get some backlash. You're going to get those questions. And I even get it a lot because I'm always linked to it. So, okay, what is he doing to you? And like our caller, Deandra, she went through the same thing, A lot of people around her, same thing. Didn't want to really deal with the full extent of what it was to change some things.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, let's blame your friends. Let's blame the person who helped you. Let's blame some folks instead of getting to the congratulatory mode.
Right.
So if we want to know, about the book, our first question is going to be, as a talk show host, as a reader, why do I want to read this book?
Mm-hmm.
For everyone out there, why do we want to read Balancing the Skills?
You want to read the book because it's about transformation. I wake up in the morning and, like I said, I'm living a good life. I was living a good life before I decided to transform my life, but there was something that was missing for me, and I thought it was weight loss. But when I started the journey, I found out that there were these other things. And when you find out that there's other things, sometimes you have a tendency to want to quit because now it's even harder than you thought it was going to be.
Because it's not just what you thought.
It's not just what you thought it was. Usually it's never what you think it is. It's always something behind that. And this book is what helps you deal with what's behind that thing. And so it's applicable to everything. It's related to my weight loss, but I've had people read it who were having financial problems, and it worked out for them. People who were having issues on their job, and they were able to navigate that. So it applies to everything because behavior change applies to everything.
Right, and that's what I was saying earlier, because I did read the book, and it actually, you got to look for ways for it to touch you when the specific story doesn't include you. But I guess that's the point of being open to change. You gotta be open to change because you can get it from anywhere. We even talk about it with certain speakers that you see. The new thing now is to get skinny and then go telling everybody.
Right.
But a lot of times, and you see
Which
it.
is why I didn't wait.
Right. you see it. You see it all the time. People get skinny or don't, but they really don't have anything to say about it because the only part they changed was, the only part that saw the drastic change was the physical part.
Mm-hmm.
So to see you figure it out mentally and emotionally and really switch it up, first I'd like to say I'm proud of you, and to actually, to be with you in that journey.
It's gonna be forever and ever. I won't be able to listen to that.
No, it's 24 hours. That's it. But I would like to say, I'm proud of you, and I hope that throughout these years, no matter where we move or wherever we go, I hope you remember what you did. Because you can easily forget yourself even over your own accomplishment.
Yeah.
The book kind of cements it, but it's nothing better than feeling it inside of you, and the people around you seeing your change and being proud of you and stuff like that. And I've seen it all with you, And, you know, like I said, and like you just mentioned, you know, you get backlash. But overall, it's a good thing because you find out who's really down to change also.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get you a group that's down to change and do some of the things that, you know, you got going on, that's a good, warm and fuzzy feeling because you feel like you got the support and not everybody's against you.
Correct.
All right, so you got to tell us where we can get the book.
Okay. You can get the book on my website, which is www.totaltransformationcoaching.com, or you can also find it on Amazon.com. If you spell my name correctly, Tiffini.
You know, it's your sister, so it just couldn't be Any.
Why? That's so basic. No offense to any regular
Right.
spellers.
There's just a million of them out there. Okay, so where do we find you? Where do we find you on social media? And you know, what's next? What's next?
Okay. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TTW Coach. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TTW Coach. What's next for me? More of the same. We just completed a successful staycation retreat,
job, ladies.
Where we had a one-day wellness thing. I'm hearing that people are looking forward to another one in the spring. There is a cookbook that's coming out where I'll be focusing on healthy, nutritious, balanced meals that can be made in 30 minutes or less. There's a daily devotional that's coming out pretty soon that just gives you a little bit of inspiration for the day, and a journal. And then there'll be one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking engagements, and you'll probably find me at a gym or outdoor track somewhere near you.
All right, so basically she's on social media, she's accessible. Once again, we like to give back to the community, so we didn't have but one caller, so I'm guessing that we're gonna give the book, T-shirt, and fitness representative give to that one caller. Like I said, you guys call in, chime in. We're looking to really, change some things. You guys will see Tiffini again, and you'll be updated on what she has going on. But go follow her. She's a very important person to change. She's a very important person to transform. Much love to y'all, and hopefully you guys really do know what change is. The Fitness Report brought to you by the Fitness Representative, representing fitness for life.
On intellectualradio.com. Next time.
Okay. I did it the first time. Yeah. I'm so used to saying represent fitness for life because
Exactly.
that's it. When I say it, it's a wrap.
I don't have no line.
You should have learned it.
That's right.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, it's live, so. Peace, y'all.